The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv and the big day. They got to get the nomination papers in.
Yep, and already the political machinations are already starting up, and candidates being called out for their name, and they're faking their names, and they're pulling another one like they pulled on Erica Scott Pacheco, now Erica Scott Papoulis. There's a candidate that changed her name. Her name is not the way it is, and she felt the need to then come out and say, no, I haven't changed my name. I hyphenated my name when I eloped. I kept my maiden name because that was my theatrical name, and you want people to remember who you are on the stage. And I was like, why are you wasting so much time just explaining this to these monkeys?
Not only that, you finally had a politician admit what they truly were, actors. They should all have stage names.
They really should.
So, isn't that amazing? And so, yeah, and I guess we have some, we're going to have to wait with bated breath until 5 o'clock this afternoon. But rumor has it that 3 of the gang of 4 are not running.
I actually have the list if you'd like me to bring it up.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm looking forward to it with bated breath.
Okay. I can tell you with absolute certainty that in the school committee race, Josh Hetzler, Tom Corey, and Mark Costa are not running. They did not take out papers as of yesterday. The people who have taken out papers, John Koleski, he has returned his papers. Mark Nathaniel Mollicone, Colin Dias, Charles Chase, he has returned his papers. Sarah Rodericks, Shelley Pereira, she has returned her papers. Paul Hart, Eric Poulin, Kevin Aguiar, Bob Bailey, Melissa Costa Doyle, and this is the one that they're saying, why does she have a hyphenated name? And Michelle Larrabee, Mimi. Those are the people who have taken out papers. Today's the day to find out who actually returns them. But people who have returned them, I've already got the check marks next to their name. Now, in the city council race, we have Andrew Gouveia, Linda Pereira, who has returned her papers, Chrisanne Tyrell, Leo Pelletier, who's returned his papers, Ricky Teeth, Angel Pantoya, Matthew Springer, who has returned his papers, Christopher Peckham, Emmanuel Barros, Alexander Silva, Gabriel Boomer Amaral, who has returned his papers, Pamela Liberté LeBeau, Bradford Kilby, returned his papers, Sean Kadim, Michelle Dion, who has returned her papers, Laura Jean Washington, Trot Lee, Andrew Raposa, Paulo J. Amaral, who has returned his papers, and Joseph D. Joe Camara.
So there will be a primary if everybody returns their papers.
If everyone returns their papers. Now, in the mayoral race, we have Paul Coogan, who has returned his papers, Jonathan James Albanaz, who has returned his papers, Jordan Sylvia, Cliff A. Ponte, who has returned his papers, and Michael Vandal. So even if the 3 people who returned their papers are the only ones that turn their papers in, there will be a primary on the mayoral side.
Okay. Well, I mean, isn't it amazing that the 3 of the 3 gang of 4s felt that maybe the community might remember, or they have a guilty conscience, or both A and B. That'll be C. They have both a guilty conscience and are afraid to be embarrassed for what they did with the superintendent. So, but Mimi Larrivee again is in the midst of another controversy. She was one of the Gang of Four to cover up Malone's dastardly deeds, and now she's got a problem with her own name. She's already been on the council, so apparently she has a little problem there. But hey, we've got some new candidates for the school committee. We've only got one person who was involved in the. Well, we got two people because we've got Mr. Recuse himself, but he's not running for school committee any longer. But so we've got some people, some options to vote for, people. So I know nobody that was involved in that fiasco would ever get my vote again. So I will. That's an alarm. It's not my phone. I got my phone shut off, so I got an alarm. But so I will be looking over all the candidates for school committee to see who I can vote for besides the people who that I'm going to vote for who are not involved in that. So we'll see. But do your homework. We've got some options on the city council, on the school committee, and for mayor. And make sure you look at what they're going to do for you, not what they're saying.
And I want to say very clearly right now, just because I said they didn't turn the papers in does not mean they didn't turn their papers in after this list was produced. This list was produced yesterday morning at 11 a.m. So there's a possibility that people have turned their papers in since this list was produced. Also, just because somebody has turned their papers in does not mean they have the certified number of signatures necessary to be on the ballot. So we hope they do. Most of them do, because most people are smart enough to get more than the minimum number of signatures. But remember, there's no guarantee that they have the necessary number of signatures to appear on the ballot. So we'll have to wait till those signatures are certified, which election said it will take a week to 10 days. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, let's hope they all have their signatures. Look, I'm you know, because you and I were two of the people that were adamantly opposed to the charter, period, but especially this basically discriminatory facet of the cut that requires so many signatures to run for office. Listen, it's my belief, and you don't have to agree with it. You know, I know that they said we wanted to basically, which I think is discriminatory, eliminate the riffraff from running. So they don't want certain people to run. And that was and we went to the meetings when they were talking about that in a very kind of condescending and disparaging way. And to me, that's just flies in the face of America. I know all the wokies only want it their way, and if you don't agree with them, they want you canceled, incarcerated, shot, let them die. As one school person said, she's resigned, but they were talking about critical race theory. So their philosophy is if you don't want to listen to totally fabricated theories that disparage the country, then you should die. Let them die. And this is the problem. I think that everybody who is a citizen of the United States and legally qualified to run for office not only should be able to run for office, but they should be respected for the fact that they put their name on a ballot. And I will sign anybody's nomination papers.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I would sign Paul Coogan's papers if he stuck them in front of me, or any one of his workers, because I think he has a right to run. I think anybody has a right to run. If I was writing a charter, I'd say you need one signature, your own.
That's it. That's it.
And if you want to run. Present your ideas. You know something? One of those people they're trying to stop from running may not get elected, but they may actually have a really good idea that can be incorporated to move this city forward. That's my opinion. And I know that some people just don't want. You have to be an elitist. You have to be a millionaire. You have to be, you have to be one of the gang to run. And I disagree with that. I think that's everything is wrong with politics today. That it has moved from dealing with issues to total partisanship, and actually not only just partisanship, but actually attempting to eliminate the other side, anybody with a different opinion. And that's to me fundamentally flies in the face of what this country is all about.
I agree. And I agree with you. I think the only signature that should be required is the candidates. That's it. No other signature necessary. But again, we're constitutionalists. We believe that everybody has the right to run.
Yeah.
And, and I remember I was there when they were talking about this, when they were doing the charter. And they said, and if I remember it correctly, they said, if they can't get 150 signatures to run for city council or school committee, then they don't deserve to be on the ballot. And they said, if they can't get 300 signatures to run for mayor, they don't deserve to be on the ballot. That's wrong. That's piss poor excuses.
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, that came from Mike Mioza, who was a city councilor, Chris Bartley, who ran for a city councilor, and everyone else on that commission, all who served on boards and whatnot. So
my only response to that is how that attitude just flies in the face of America. They don't deserve to be on a ballot. They're American citizens. They have a right to be not only vote, but to actually be part of the government. And kudos to them for wanting to try. How many people couldn't get 150 signatures, and maybe during a campaign season, they could top the ballot? Who knows? Who knows? Do they know? Do they have a crystal ball? So the only thing I've got to respond to that statement is a quote from The Unforgiven, one of my favorite cowboy movies with Clint Eastwood. When he was going to shoot Gene Hackman for killing his friend, and Gene Hackman said, "I don't deserve this," and his response was, "Deserves got nothing to do with it," and then he shot him. So deserve has got nothing to do. What do you mean they don't deserve? They don't deserve. The Constitution made them, they're citizens of the United States. They can vote, they can run. That's my belief. You're an elitist snob looking down your nose at people. And that's the problem.
Well, next year, the charter comes up for review. It gives them 1 year to review the charter and make necessary changes. I think some of the changes they should make are, number one, go from a mayoral type charter to a city manager type. Number two, to change the charter so that people can only serve on one board or commission unless elected. They need to put that unless elected in there because that's already been struck down by the court. Number three, they need to make it so that the during a recall that the person recalled cannot appear on the ballot.
Yeah, among many. I think about 85% of that charter has to be revised. So it's going to be a circus. But I'm not too optimistic since politicians are the people who choose the people who are going to review the charter.
Exactly.
They're not going to do anything to jeopardize their job.
That's right.
So that's why I think the charter has to be, we have to, if they don't do a good charter revision, I think that we need to put it on the ballot and just dump the whole charter because this charter has been nothing but an unmitigated disaster. And speaking of the charter, and speaking of committees appointed by the mayor, I have heard that there's a rumor about that one of the mayoral well, not even a legal appointee, so, to the park board, and also the recipient of a big-time job in a housing authority, was advertising tickets for the fundraiser for the mayor, which, by the way, is illegal.
That's right.
So I heard through the grapevine. I don't know who sang that song, but it's catchy. They used it on a commercial.
I remember it from a commercial.
Yeah, commercial. It was a catchy too. Yeah, and but I heard that there's already been a couple of complaints filed. So again, here we go with the politics. So obviously, that individual should no longer be on the park board. They're not supposed to be on a park board in the first place. They gave him special consideration. So that she's already shown that she's a rubber stamp. She's doing fundraising publicly. And speaking of the mayor, I guess he appeared at the South End Neighborhood Association.
It was Maplewood.
Maplewood, yeah, that's right. There's a description. Yeah. Emerald Godet has his own. I guess he's created his own. And so I guess he was on a roll, playing the modern day Will Rogers. Oh shucks, I'm so wonderful. I love Fall River. And blah 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 blah, and then blaming social media for lying all the time, and he bet somebody and blah blah blah, and people are calling him heinous names. Now I know he's going to get all, if he didn't use the exact word heinous, but I'm saying what someone who was at the meeting has recounted to me. So, well, like labels, I don't agree with labels because I think they're just BS, because one man's terrorist is another man's revolutionary. So the fact is, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. But see, my definition of heinous would not be somebody in politics being targeted, because when they ran for office, they put a target on their back. They're free game. That's why slander and libel laws don't even apply to them. But what's heinous to me is someone who tried to take a healthcare plan and slide everybody over to where they were going to be paying $115 more per prescription, per tier 3 prescription. That's heinous, because I have retirees in my organization, 60%, more than half, who are living on less than $25,000 a year gross. What do you think an elderly person on 8 different prescriptions is going to do when they have to pay $115 more per prescription than they do today? It would have bankrupted them. Also, out of pocket was going to go up $7,000. $7,000. That's 20% of their annual gross income. To me, that's unfeeling, uncaring, and heinous. So we all have our definition of heinous. And if you want to refute that and call it a lie, I got videotape. And I got a whole bunch of people that were at that meeting. And as a matter of fact, you taped it when I called them out on a GIC. So the fact is, that's what I call heinous. That's what I call heinous. And I know for a fact, because someone who was at his private meeting, you wanted to dump everybody into the cheapest plan you could to free up money so you could blow it and give your friends pay raises and violate ordinances. So don't give me that crap. Don't play Will Rogers with me. Because, you're Will Rogers at a meeting and you're Joe Stalin when you get in your office. That's the problem. That's the problem. And you don't even have a grasp on this city. Apparently, what I've heard is you didn't say anything about anything that you've really done except throw money around, donate to charity. Well, you're running for mayor, not sainthood. Well, I don't care how much money you give to charities. And listen, let me get this in, CJ, and you can take it away. But I heard you talked about the gas company land and how you can just think of it. You'll be able to go down there and jump on a cruise ship and cruise up to Montreal. Well, I guess when you moved back here from Somerset, because you loved Fall River so much that you moved to Somerset, and you only moved back so you could get rid of Meg Mayo Brown, I guess that when you got here, you moved right back into where all the rich people live. Because most of the people I know in Fall River, almost a quarter of whom are living below the poverty level, aren't going to be running down to the waterfront to jump on a cruise ship to Montreal. They need a tax break. They need a rent break. They need a break, period. Take it away, CJ.
I agree. And, he also made claims that, we're liars. And he said very clearly, I made them a bet of $1,000. You can make all the bets of $1,000 you want. But when a person, i.e. me or you or anyone else, has already acknowledged that the information they had received was in error, and they were in error for presenting it and had apologized for it, and then proceeded to retract it either on social media or on their shows, that says that they're responsible. And they took responsibility. Just because you present a bet of $1,000 doesn't mean anything. Oh, and while we're talking about that $1,000, let's talk about how much money you're making, Mr. Mayor. Okay? You're making $120,000 a year from the city of Fall River. How much are you making from your pension? Because you can collect your pension while you're mayor because it's an elected office and the pension rules don't apply to you. So you're collecting probably somewhere in the vicinity of $200,000. That's why you can be so generous with these $1,000 bets and these $1,000 donations. Because it's not your money.
Yeah, and not only
it's
that,
taxpayer money.
That's right.
It's taxpayer money. So you're throwing it away. Granted, you earned it, okay? But nonetheless, it's nice to be so flippant with all this money that you're only getting from the taxpayer, and then you're trying to screw the taxpayer at the same time. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, let's do the math. 120 grand a year is $10,000 a month. So if you put away $2,000 a month to give to charity, you're still making up 96 grand on top of your pension. And by the way, I know you claim the donations on your income tax, so that actually helps you. Giving out, you're like the major corporations who give away a ton of money to reduce their tax burden. So that's bullshit. But if you want to make a bet, like you said, CJ retracted that statement. I'm not retracting mine about the GIC. I'll tell you what. You want to make a $10,000 bet that the GIC was on the table, in spite of the fact that on video you said you didn't know anything about it, but you didn't introduce it to try to shift millions of dollars worth of healthcare costs over to people who can't afford it. Yeah, Mary Sahadi can afford it. All the people you give pay raises to can afford it. But the clerks working in City Hall for 35 grand couldn't afford $115 a bump prescription. They couldn't afford a $7,000 out of pocket. The only thing that was going to be saved was the city was going to save money so you can give out more pay raises. You want to bet on that one? Because I got the money right. I'll go to the bank right now and get it. You want to say that I'm lying? That the GIC was not put on the table? Because I'll tell you what, I'll take that bet. And to me, that's heinous, Mr. Mayor. That you have such a total disregard for the average citizen in Fall River who can't get on a boat to Montreal.
And right now, nobody can anyhow because Canada's closed.
And we don't have any cruise ships coming here anyway. That's like the commuter rail. You know when they're going to come here? Yeah, when hell freezes over.
We had cruise ships stop in Fall River back in the 80s, maybe early 90s. And they stopped here because of our outlets. Remember? Yes. They would come in, the boat would pull into the dock, they would disembark, and they would get on a trolley or a train or a bus or something that took them right over to the outlets. and people bought things. They didn't come in and spend a lot of money in Fall River at various locations. They didn't create a huge tourist income for Fall River, but it was something nice. It was nice for them. But that stopped because crime started taking its toll on the people of Fall River and on the cruise industry. And this is the problem.
Yeah.
We can live in a Pollyanna type of situation all we want. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And just because you entered into a 99-year lease with the gas company, supposedly, okay, why? What are we going to get out of a 99-year lease? What are we going to get from that? Okay, parking? Is that going to become a parking lot? They pave paradise, put up a parking lot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just unbelievable. I don't know. Sometimes I get so frustrated with administrations, not just this one. You know, we go back to a few administrations, and you and I have, we've been doing this for 8 years. We've seen enough of it. And we've been in politics a hell of a lot longer than that.
Sometimes you wonder, and that's true. But when you sit and you get in front of a group, I want to see you talk about what you've really done to relieve the tax burden of the people of Fall River, what you've done to change the crime in this city, what you've done to number one, you're in the educational system for I don't know how long, and I'm not going to give you a number because I might be off by a month or a year, but you were in there a very long time. It was your career. I didn't see you advocate to improve a lot of things. You just kind of sat there and collected your paycheck. So
and tell students you're too stupid. Get out of here.
Yeah, and I'll bet you'll bet that you can prove that one.
Oh, I can, because I've got the people already lined up to call him out publicly. And let me tell you something: if he has a debate, or if he's in another neighborhood meeting, and I show up with a group of people, you can bet those people are going to embarrass the hell out of him. Because as soon as I find out he's showing up at a neighborhood meeting, I'm getting some of these people together to bring out the story that he turned around and told them, you're too stupid, maybe you should just leave. And also to turn around and say, well, you're too gay. You need to stop that. I will get those people. And I will make it happen.
Well, look, cruise ships and 99-year leases to people that's out of the reach of 85% of the people in Fall River, and charitable donations do not move a city forward. It's nice. I mean, I wish I was making 96 grand after giving 2,000 to charities, because guess what? I'd be giving to charities too to reduce my tax burden. So, this is the campaign season, but you know what this is an example of? Don't believe us. Listen, pay attention, inform yourself, investigate, see who's telling the truth, and we'll find out. We're liars. I'm willing to make a bet that the GIC was put on the table. CJ's willing to bet on other issues. But that's you know what that is? That's theatrics.
Exactly.
That's all that is. That's just posturing for elections and playing the victim card. Oh, I'm the victim. They're picking on me because I'm like a saint. Well, you're not. You're not Will Rogers either. So hey, make your own mind up. All we're saying is we're going to give you the other side of the coin. We're going to give you the Joe Stalin side, not the Will Rogers side.
And the Joe Stalin side isn't a nice side of the coin, let me tell you. No,
not at all.
It's unbelievable.
Well, we're gearing up. Put your helmet on. It's campaign season.
That's it. And of course, the shovels are out, and they're making it deep, baby. They're making it deep. Hey, our producer brought up the fact that song, I heard it through the grapevine, was by Marvin Gaye.
Ah, yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah. What was the commercial? I can't.
That was a raisin commercial.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a raisin commercial. Yeah.
Yes, it was a raisin commercial.
Yeah,
So-
one of the brands of raisins. That's right.
Yep.
That's a catchy tune when the way they write it. I tell you.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. It's been great to be in your home. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for watching.
Stay in.